Welcome to part 6 of the tutorial. This will be just a quick little insert piece of naming the splines. So the same principle as the rails and spine, but there's slightly more information that needs to be used. So looking at the track, this spline is to the left and it's station piece 1. So what I like to do is 1 station spline and then whichever it is, left or right, so that one is capital L, always has to be a capital. So 1 station spline L, and then that one is 1 station spline R. Now technically, as long as it has spline L and spline R, it doesn't really matter what you call the track pieces. However, I always like to call it something where it's easier to edit further ahead. You'll see that if you edit the XML the way I like to do it, which is a lot quicker, it's better to have a full name rather than just a letter. So for example, this would be 2 straight spline R. And what you can also do is you can copy the text, paste, and then just type in the next one. So this would be 3 turn spline L, 3 turn spline R. That one, say 4 brake spline R, 4 brake spline L, 5 lift spline L, for example here I'm still going to call it a turn, but it's irrelevant whether you've got multiple turns or tracks or whatever, as long as you have the name slightly different. So this would be 6 turn spline R, uh, 7 hold spline R, oh, I've just noticed the spline slightly wrong there. Also, notice how I put this one 2 R's. It goes 0, 0, 1. That's because I've put 2 R's because that one should actually be an L. And also the spline slightly wrong. So what do? What we can do is Control R and then select the bits that it didn't want to do. I mean, I could go back into SketchUp and edit it, but I mean, it's only 4 pieces, it would take too long. Shift D, scripts, mesh, edged curve, tab, A, subdivide, 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 Bezier, smooth, 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 smooth. And then rename it. So there we go. Now we're on part 8. Let's see, 9. custom spline L. There's no method in choosing names for every piece. You can call them whatever you like. I mean, for some people they literally just go track 1, track 2, track 3, but I like to give them an actual element name. There is a limit to how many characters you can put in a name. It will stop typing after so many. And there we go, that's now all of the splines named. Now, next step will be importing the ties. Load back into SketchUp, select one group of ties at a time, File, Export, 3D Model. Now, to keep it nice and tidy, I always like to put a folder and just call it ties and name them in however many groups there are per track piece. You do one at a time. I would recommend only doing about half at any one time, because otherwise you have too many groups and you might have missed one. So you load back into Blender, Scripts, Import, 3ds, go to the folder, select, import, make sure it's at 0. Now you have to do not deselect the ties that are left pink, hold shift, right click on one of them, one of the ties, Control J, and that now groups the imported ties as one group. While we're doing this to save time, what we'll also do is delete the texture, add the modifier edge split, and name it. I like to do 1T, T for ties. So script, import, 3ds, ties, 2, import, make sure it's at 0, hold shift, right click on one of them, Control J, join, add modifier, edge split, apply, delete, 2T. And so on until they are all done. Because I've just realised I've done that slightly wrong. I've not included the station, which is it's alright, you can just go over them. So that's 3T, 4t and 5t. But remember, it has now made those wrong, so make sure that you go back. That should be 2t, 3t and 4t. So now remember, scripts, import 3ds, ties. So even though that is imported as number 5, it's actually 6. This is why I said it was easier to do it in a smaller amount, so you don't end up getting confused with there being too many groups, and in case you missed any. So that's scripts, import, 3ds, go find your ties folder, select it, make sure it's at 0, OK, hold shift, right click, control J, OK, delete the texture, change the name, add modifier edge split and apply. And then I want to just go into the ties folder and delete all that you've imported. And then go back to SketchUp and carry on. Because now we've changed the thing, so I can rename them what they should be, which is back to 14 for that piece. then go back to Blender and carry on importing 3ds, ties, make sure it's at 0, hold shift and just select. Oops. And that's now all the ties imported. Okay, as I haven't got the Python script installed on this particular computer, I will just quickly show you how to install it. I've included this folder .blender in the zip of all the download needed for CT creation. And what it needs to do is you go to the installation of your Blender, go in the first Blender folder. Some might have the .blender folder already there, some might not. Regardless if it is or isn't, just put the .blender folder in there in the Blender main installation, close it, and then load up Blender again. Make sure everything's selected, scripts, export, and now mod XML is in there. Just go to wherever and say export XML, click OK, and that's it.